Behavior adjustment training. BAT helps animals gain confidence and social skills. BAT is a natural method that creates an emotionally safe interaction with minimal intrusion. BAT is especially useful when the triggers for frustration, aggression, or fears are living beings, for example, when dogs bark at or bite other dogs or people. BAT gives animals maximum control of safety and other significant events in their lives. It arranges safe scenarios where animals can socialize naturally and interact with triggers in socially acceptable ways. BAT in brief. Follow your dog on a loose leash. Any direction is okay, except for straight at the trigger. Tip: if he walks towards the helper in a focused way, slow stop him. If you see any signs of increasing stress, call your dog away. What to practice? Recall Q2. BAT leash skills, see handout. Practice wandering walks without a trigger. BAT setups. Survival techniques for real life, see handout. Setups are dress rehearsals for real life. Your dog's major attitude shifts will happen when you do setups. Rehearsals for your dog to practice healthy behavior. Specifically, setups are practice sessions with helpers. Dogs are people that would ordinarily trigger a bad response, who are far enough away that your dog is not at all concerned. The ideal setups are like those potty walks where you follow your dog around, looking for the perfect spot. If you want your dog to be calm in real life, use setups to let him practice being calm. Setups give your dog maximum control within a safe, natural framework, like a lifeguard protecting swimmers at a beach. Good lifeguards keep things fun and safe by staying out of the way, but acting quickly when they need to set boundaries or rescue a swimmer. Such a lifeguard uses just the right level of intrusion to interrupt unsafe activities. BAT allows dogs to explore their environment, intervene if and only if it is necessary. Watch carefully for signs of stress so that you can maintain scenarios in which your dog feels safe. If stress rises beyond the level of curious interest, encourage your dog to move on in the least intrusive way that works. Helpers. The right working distance from your helper may be across the street, the length of the football field away, or even further at first. A good rule of thumb is to go about 3 times the distance at which your dog typically barks or double the distance at which your dog will not bark at the helper and will easily work for treats, whichever is great. The helper should be allowed to act as naturally as possible so that the dog can interact with the helper at the right distance. If the helper is a dog, movement reduces stress. You may need to have the helper dog working for treats at some points, but not constantly, unless the helper or student dog needs that. What to do? Your dog should walk around naturally, check things out, sniff, and occasionally look at the helper. Follow your dog around on a loose leash, but be ready to slow to a stop or even call your dog away if he gets too intensely focused on the helper. You can occasionally look at the helper and move a little towards the helper to encourage your dog to investigate that direction, but your dog should initiate most of the movement toward the helper. With BAT for dogs, we used a long line to help the dog feel free while still maintaining safety. See the leash skills handout for information and tips on safe and effective leash handling. The leash skills are fairly simple to learn and will make it more fun to walk your dog. Think of your dog's stress level as the water level on the beach. Let's say the water is dangerous today with an undertow and sharks out in the water. The lifeguard allows people to stay on the beach but prevents them from going in. Your dog can wander around the beach. No big interest in the helper. Even occasionally approach the shoreline. Shows interest in the helper. But you will not let him step into the water, stressed, too focused on the helper. We want the dog to be curious about the helper, but not showing signs of fear, frustration, or aggression. Manage the activity and the distance of the helper to keep your dog's stress level low. If you do that well, he will keep himself out of the water. You can even stay out of his way. This empowered exposure lets him learn that the helper is not a threat, even possibly fun, and that he can explore and move away. If your dog is used to interacting and needs a verbal connection to normalize the situation and keep his stress level low, calmly talk or pet him for a bit when he checks in. If you see your dog walks directly towards the helper at any point, think of that as reaching the shoreline. Slow your dog to a stop at the shoreline, give him a chance to calm down, gather information, and decide what he wants to do next. After your dog comes to a full stop, relax the leash so that the leash makes a U shape or smile between you and your dog. This allows him to decide what to do next without adding tension from your leash. When your dog is done looking at the helper, he will disengage, meaning that he turns away, stops focusing on the helper, etc. The most obvious behavior here is a head turn and a shift of his weight. Praise, optional, and follow him on a loose leash in whatever direction he goes, except for directly at the helper. If your dog immediately starts to go directly towards the helper again, he is too focused and needs his lifeguard, so call him back and try again from further away. That's it. That's BAT done correctly. Everything else is just what to do if life isn't perfect. See the BAT troubleshooting handout or work with a trainer who knows about BAT 2.0 before trying out your own BAT setup. Find a certified BAT instructor using the link above. BAT zone. Dog is curious about the trigger. The first dog on the left is loose body, soft mouth, ears, not avoiding trigger, sniffing ground, passing glances, easy to look away, moving to explore environment. This is ideal. Follow the dog, no prompt needed. The second dog to the left is gathering info, arcs towards the trigger, ears up, focused eyes, air scenting, disengages easily. This is okay, but do a slow stop at the shoreline, wait for disengagement. Dog moves directly towards the trigger. So the third dog is arousal level moderate, but is decreasing, intent on trigger, disengages without help, but takes more than 2 seconds. Small hints. Shift your weight away. Verbal, done. After disengagement, help dog get back to shore. The second to last dog is unable to disengage. Stiff face and body, tail up and stiff. Mouth closed, breathing faster, avoids trigger altogether, pickier about food. This one you want to call away, call, move to dry land, and treat. The last dog on the right, over his head and signs of reactivity. Get away, call away, and treat if needed. Use meme and reel pulling to get to safety. Tip: film your sessions. Review your videos with your trainer for signs that you should make changes, like stopping sooner. Did you accidentally keep the leash tight? Stop him too quickly? Hold your breath? Think of these examples as the tide coming in, meaning you have to move farther away from your dog to easily handle the situation. The new normal, to convince your dog's brain that these setups are real. Do setups in different places with a variety of helpers over time. Include urban locations if your dog might experience that kind of environment. Also, vary whether you have food on you, whether you're talking, and even where your trainer is standing. Changing context helps prevent a relapse. Help your dog stay calm during walks to help the BAT setups take effect. The setups may seem slow at first, but each setup should get you further or take less time to comfortably get close, even with a new helper. At some point, you'll realize that your dog no longer needs setups. Doing BAT at the right pace pass off in terms of safety and fun in the long run. By paying attention and taking it slow, you will soon have a reliable way to communicate with your dog. BAT 2.0 flowchart. Start. Relaxed, far away, most attention is on the environment. Follow your dog, explore the area. Is your dog moving straight at the trigger? If not, go back to the step before. If it is, slow stop, relax leash, center. Was slow stop easy? If not, call the dog away and treat. If it was, move on. Is the dog gathering info? Sniff, blink, open mouth. If not, call the dog away. If he is, just wait. Did your dog turn away from the trigger? If not, you need to go back to the step before. Is the dog gathering info? Sniff, blink, open mouth. If the dog did turn away from the trigger, was turning away easy? If not, move away when the dog disengages. If yes, then that's complete.